Hi folks, what we're going to do today is work on a Misfire. The 280Z, I noted on a trip the other day that at idle, relatively low RPM, I had a very significant miss, enough to really shake the mirrors. You could obviously feel it. I stopped the car, got out, popped the hood, the engine running, and did basically a power balance test the old-fashioned way. That is, I just pulled one plug wire at a time until I found the cylinder or cylinders that were not contributing anything. And that happened to be number 6, which is the last cylinder, the aft cylinder on the engine. Pulling number 6 made no difference to the RPM. Now what's interesting about this particular case is, even though it's a hard miss, it only is a hard miss at idle. So by that I mean, if I run the air conditioner, there's an idle up provision for the 280Z, and it raises the idle. I have it set to raise the idle up to about 1100 RPM over the standard 850, 900 RPM that idles at where the miss was taking place. Once I got it up to about 1100 RPM, the miss was largely absent. It was definitely not a hard miss. There was probably not a full contribution from that cylinder, but I think it was adding some because there's no real vibration, and it's only a few hundred RPM above idle. So I'm feeling that there's a situation here. I mean, they can only be a few things. It's either going to be fuel, compression, or spark. Something's inadequate there, and apparently it's only inadequate or shows up during idle. So my first test, I put a new plug in it. I mean, I was on the road, I couldn't do much. I put a new plug in it just to see if that made it. The plug was fairly well fouled, I mean gas fouled, wet fouled. Not so much with oil, but it looked more like gasoline, and as if it had been completely in combustion on several cycles. To be safe, even though I was on the road, I pulled the valve cover off because I wanted to make sure there wasn't some kind of issue with a valve that wasn't closing and risk burning up an exhaust valve, i.e. loss of compression at lower RPM might have done it. The valve latch was fine, so at least I know my valves are safe. That doesn't mean I don't have a compression issue. I mean, hell, I could have done it, who knows what. We'll do a compression test, but that'll probably be one of the later tests we'll do. So the first thing I'm trying to do is confirm 100% that I got a decent spark. So I'm going to pull the spark plug out. I'll pull 2 spark plugs out and we'll read them. We'll take a look and see what they have and see if it looks like it's fouled. But before I do any of that, I want to recreate the miss for your benefit by starting a car while it's cold. Now, I have a few theories what it could be. I think it's a overfuel situation, number 6, as if the injector is leaking. I could hear it clicking while on the road, so I don't think it's a situation where the injector's stuck open. But since it seemed like it was wet fouled and carbon fouled and low idle only, i.e. a leak would affect the air fuel mix at a relatively low air setting at idle. As you idle up, you get more air, so the same relative leak would not have as dramatic an impact. And at high speeds, it have practically no impact because you're pulling so much fuel anyway. But first things first, I'll start the car with you. You can observe it, and then we'll go from there. So let me set you up. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here some. See what's going on. Remember, it's number 6, which is that last plug right there in the center. Oops, right there in the center. Come on. Toggle up. Okay. Let me get some more light on. Maybe the garage light might help. I don't know. Better now? You see it any better at all? Okay, well anyway, it's this line right here. That's number 6. Like I said, I'm not going to do anything until we do a start and see if it misses on idle. Cold engine requires more fuel to run, so my theory is if it idles okay now, it's because it's getting an extra rich mix, which it needs anyway. So we'll start it and see if it misses or not. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Wrong key, that's why. Look. There you go. Ignition, neutral. That doesn't sound too bad. Again, it's a rich engine. I'm going to pull this plug and see if you hear any difference. Ready? Oh yeah. So it's not missing now. That tick is smart. Put it back on, ready? Power on. See that? Off. Power on. Now we'll do another plug for comparison. Big difference on that. Another one. This one again. Okay. Now it's starting to chug along. Now we'll do another test. Ready? Number 5. Back on, number 6 off. Not as much. 6 on. So you see, it doesn't have much of an effect. So already at this level, you can see it. Not 6 is not contributing. And I smell like this kind of fuel-y smell. So what we're going to do now, we're going to do a quick read on that plug. Let's see if you're still recording. Yeah, good. All right, let's pull that plug out and take a look at it. Brand new plug, maybe 100 miles on it. This one I replaced when I was out on the road. And we'll check it to this one too, just for comparison purposes. This is an old plug. So I'm going to compare 5 and 6. 5. Well, he doesn't look that pretty. Something kind of rich too. That's interesting. And it should be I'm not real happy with that color. But let's compare it to this one with 100 miles on it. Now, that one's got thousands of miles on it. Oh yeah. It's kind of wet. I can see shiny fuel on it right there. That one's dry. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up. But one of them's kind of shiny, one of them's kind of dry. So, I think what we'll do is try the color tune. The color tune will tell me that I'm actually firing, if nothing else. Let's see if it's nice and clean. Yeah. Okay, we'll put the color tune in. This is the color tune. It's got a clear base that you'll be able to see through here. Let's come through on the camera. Okay. So we'll put the color tune in. Put in number 6. Yeah, that brand new plug, that should not be anywhere near that dark. It's as if the whole thing's running rich. That's an interesting thing to note. I put that screwed in. In there or not? Okay, color tune's in. No, it's close. Now, it doesn't have to be tight, just tight enough to seal up. And put in number 5 back. Now I want to see that thing, at this point it should have like a nice orangish flame. If it's not firing at all, you'll know because you won't see anything. Okay, this extension. I should have put that on first. That's me being stupid. Okay. Put that in now. Okay. Color tunes. Let's see if we can see an orange flame in there. Put the other plug back on. Yeah, it's on. Oh yeah. Color tune is doing just fine. So I don't know if you can see it. See that? It's definitely firing. That means it's got spark and everything else. Look at you look closer. Sorry for the noise. Zoom. See that? Let's rub it up, see what happens then more. Now it's vibrating pretty badly. I'm trying to see myself if that light's intermittent or not. Off, no spark, spark. It's firing, it doesn't look overly rich. See this one, big change. Pull number 1, big change. It's still firing. Tell you what, we're gonna pull the other one. The other plug. This is why I seriously want to get another color tune plug. So I could run two adjacent to one another and try to see what's really going on, if you know what I mean. Take this plug out. It's really fighting me, guys. Hang on. Damn, now it's gotten freaking hot, too. Hey, Bay. Hold on. Never fear. Smith is here. Remember that old Lost in Space? You guys remember Lost in Space? Dr. Smith. Okay, ouch, 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 hot, hot, hot. Whew, damn, that thing's hot. No kidding, it just came out of a combustion chamber. I don't know why this thing's fighting me so much. Sorry for all the downtime, but I'm not good at editing. I do not want to spend all my time trying to learn a new editor program. So just live with me for a minute here. I'm trying to put the color tune extension on. There we go. Okay. Let's pull this other plug.
get him out. We'll swap the color tune around. We'll try it again and try to do a comparison of one to the other. See if we can see how it looks. Color tunes in. Reinstall the plug. I'm going to do a compression check, I think, because if it's firing like that, I don't know. A friend of mine, Yarb, suggested swapping the ECU. That's not a bad idea. We might do that too. You, Yarby. Okay, let's fire this bad boy up again and see what happens. Let's go this now. Well, objectively, that was considerably less blue, or less orange than the first one. Okay. I think this plug is running considerably leaner than that one. That doesn't seem to be nearly as orange as that one was. So I'm back to my original thought that this could be a leaky injector. Now, one of my ideas was to try to squeeze off this thing, but there's no way that's going to work. So, I'm going to do a compression test, just for grin, see where I am. The only other thing I'm going to do is I can actually check the literal strength of the spark, but I don't think that's even a valid test anymore. Just because it seems like both the sparking, the firing, and just that richness is what's getting me. I'm almost 100% sure this is a lean, a regular versus overly rich mixture. Just pull that power balance in. See, it misses a little bit. I do that, not much. By comparison, a lot more. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it for now. I'll come back when I get ready to do the compression test, and we'll run through that. Thanks for watching.